What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Thursday, April 11th, 2024, and we are having an evening live stream. Usually I would do it in the midday, but you already know why I'm doing it in the evening this evening, because I will be collaborating this evening. And sorry for the tardiness, but we are now officially live. If you have not done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button. Go ahead. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, welcome. So earlier today, I did a video talking about Angel Reese, but it was on a whole separate topic. And I said that when I came back on here again to talk about her this evening, it was going to be about the whole situation post Iowa, so to speak. And here we are yet again. But before we go ahead and get into everything, let me go ahead and acknowledge the people who are here so far. We have the Real American Indians, Hacksign KT, Gold 33. Shout out to J Dog FBA for the $9.99 super chat. He says, check out my latest video by clicking this link. In this video, I talk about the white supremacist desperation for a great white hope in sports. I appreciate that, and make sure y'all check that out. We have Jerry Bedford, Cosima Fury, XA Guacha 23, Andre Toppin Jr., Dimple Face, Hacksign KT, Don P. Ben Yehuda, Chris Vesey, Judah Queen, DSA1, Donna C, and Derry B. That is who we have in here so far. But without further ado, everybody, I'm about to bring my guest up here. This is a person that I've known for a few years now. They've been on my channel before. It's just been a while since the last time they've been on here, but they were talking about this and they asked me and reached out to me and said, the next time you talk about this, could they come up and lend their voice to the topic at hand? And I said, sure, why not? So without further ado, Town Biz, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm doing good. Hope everything is going good on your end.
Yeah, I'm doing well, just chilling, looking at plane reservations and Airbnbs, because I'm, gonna do my next fight, probably next month in San Diego. So, that's basically what I'm doing, because in case you guys don't know, I am a credentialed media member as far as covering boxing goes. So I cover a lot of boxing, pretty much anything relating to boxing. And sometimes I cover some big three events. So, I'm trying to cover some big three events, but I am a credentialed media member. So,
for those of y'all who don't know, but yes, he definitely also talks about various different current events as well, including the one that we are going to be talking about today. And that is the topic of Angel Reese. But before we actually get into it, Town, can you tell the people what your thoughts about the whole situation is? Because I know you were very opinionated about that.
Well, I thought, first of all, I just think the way Angel Reese was treated as a whole was just very despicable. All she did is return fire, and all she did is emulate something that Caitlin Clark was doing. So it was okay when she was doing the hand gesture, and I'm not going to call it the John Cena, because let's get something straight. The "you can't see me" thing did not get created by John Cena. It was actually created by a rapper by the name of Tony Yayo, who was affiliated with 50 Cent. And he was kind of the guy that started doing the "you can't see me" thing. And John Cena has went on record and admitted that he got that from Tony Yale. But yet the WWE, which is owned by another company, they got bought out like last year, but they have made millions of dollars selling "you can't see me" apparel. And the thing is that they have basically labeled this as their own. And I've encouraged Tony Yale to basically seek legal action against the WWE and their parent company. I forgot what their parent company is called, but it's owned by the same company that owns the UFC as well. So, I just find it ironic. Caitlin Clark made a buzz using a hand gesture, the "you can't see me," that people think got created by a white man that actually got created by a hip hop artist in Tony Yale. So the whole thing is just ironic in general. And then when you had Angel Reese do it, all hell broke loose. She got called out her name. She got, which I think is absurd that she got her life threatened over something like this. But I believe her because it's happened. Tori and I didn't had, me and you both didn't had death threats. So I mean, it didn't surprise me, but I just thought the fact that she was attacked by people like David Portnoy, the guy that owns Barstool, who's a known racist, who has used both N-words, who's dressed up in blackface. I mean, then you had Jason Sudeikis recently, making fun of Angel Reese. So I just thought this was just absurd. And then you basically had a lot of these handkerchief heads not coming to Angel Reese's defense, basically, just sitting up there, not saying nothing, just being the blatant cowards that they are. And it took guys like me and you to point out what was going on. We received the typical backlash as usual. Why are you making this about race? Because it is about race. We know what's up with this. And this just went on far too long.
And truth be told, they were the ones that made it into a race thing first. But see, they always tend to do that. And then when we push back against it, then that's when they try to go into this other mode. I said they're very manipulative like that, because they did the same thing. I'm not sure if you heard about the whole Kaylee Gaines situation that happened. The girl, the little white girl that got into the fight with the black girl, and the black girl basically beat her ass. And people got upset about it and then tried to say she needs to be charged with a hate crime and stuff like that. I'm like, y'all the ones that turned it into a race thing. We just saw two girls fighting. And then when more stuff started to come out about, Kaylee Gaines, she had a black boyfriend, and that, she was suspended the day before. She wasn't even supposed to be up there. Then they kind of fell back. Now you really don't hear too much more about it. But I mean, through the legalities, that's still going on. But it's not as pushed out there as it was before.
Yeah, well, basically, this was just a typical case of basically a black girl and a white girl having a fight. The black girl got the best of her. Let's just be honest. If the white girl had won the fight and the black girl had ended up in the hospital, you know what they'd be saying? Hey, they're just kids. These things happen. But to hear them, she need to be charged as an adult. I thought that was absurd. And basically, I did my research, kind of come to find out that the white girl kind of initiated everything, that she was basically the aggressor. And of course, some of the media is trying to spin it, doing the typical demonize the black girl, I don't know why this happened to her. Oh, she's such a nice girl and all. No. She started something and the other girl finished it. But, I'm keeping an eye on this because they saying that she's talking and everything. If need be, if the young lady, if the black girl needs assistance, I will, help get her a lawyer. I will start a GoFundMe or whatever it takes, because they will be balanced.
She already has an attorney, and it's interesting you brought up the GoFundMe, because they actually started a GoFundMe for her and they ended up taking it down. They set up a Cash App for her and they took that down too. They trying to basically make her not get the best representation she could possibly get. And I said that's a fear tactic, because they probably know she has a strong case, especially with more stuff coming out that could actually benefit her more, because they want to try to charge her as an adult. And then you had the I think he was the DA out there, tried to say it was a DEI thing. I was like, oh, here they go. And now I said, you know what? I'm glad he did that, because that can hurt their case, because DEI has nothing to do with that. But I mean, that's hurting them right. I mean, that's right up there with CRT, affirmative action, and basically any saying, something that they can use as a quote unquote anti-white thing, because that's what they're leaning on when it has nothing to do with it. They were like, if you don't shut up, you're going to hurt our case. I'm saying, good, let them keep talking.
I just found it ironic that basically they wasn't telling the whole story, but I suspected it was more to the story. Now you have some of these media outlets saying that she was brutally attacked, like the girl just came to the school and just whooped on her, and that's not what happened. They need to have people telling the story and what really happened. Now, for them to basically try to block the girl from getting representation, you have to question, okay, so what's up with that? Cal Rittenhouse was able to raise over $1 million to get lawyers, but now all of a sudden they're trying to prevent and block the other young lady from getting proper representation. So this should be called out and they should be put on blast. Why are they trying to block her from being able to get representation? That needs to come in question. I need to know who is the people that's blocking her from, being able to make money to get representation.
Exactly.
So that's what the problem is. So we need to be asking those questions. This is why people need to be asking more questions and doing more due diligence and doing their own investigation, because I would like to talk to the girl myself and hear her side of the story, but I'm pretty sure that they've issued some kind of gag order. They probably have used these scare tactics. That's what they try to do. They try to tell people don't talk to the media and tell her to be silent. But I'm pretty sure they've used all kind of scare tactics, because this happened in Missouri, which is ironic. Missouri is a known open carry state as well. So I just find that ironic that all this is going on. But when I heard they were trying to charge her as an adult, and then you heard people say what happened to her, the district attorney said it was pure evil and all that kind of stuff, I was like, all right, man, stop it. We've seen worse. We've seen worse on camera, so stop it. They didn't even say what happened to George Floyd was evil. I mean, come on, that was evil. But basically, a fight happens. All this is about a white girl getting her ass beat by a black girl, and that's just basically the bottom line. And they just trying to make a big deal out of this. From what I've been hearing, the girl is recovering. She's talking, and basically they trying to be more silent about this as more information is coming out. But I will be keeping an eye on this to make sure that this girl don't get steamrolled, because they love to steamroll girls like her, especially if she don't know what her legal rights is.
Right. All right. So right now I actually have pulled up the press conference that Angel Reese and two of her teammates did after they lost to Iowa. I kind of skipped ahead a little bit because we don't have to listen to the whole thing. I really wanted to point out the part where Angel Reese was talking about like the death threat she was receiving, amongst other things, so people can hear this for themselves, just in case they didn't hear about it. I know you probably heard it. I know I heard it. But for those out there who've never seen it or didn't hear about it, this will be your opportunity to hear it, and then we'll discuss.
Through your mind as you heard your two teammates right here on the dais, just taking the opportunity to really stand up for you and what your journey has been like that we don't get to see.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to, and it sucks. But I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything. And I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are, keep waking up every day, keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
All right. So that's pretty much the only part that I really wanted people to see if they never saw before. Like I said, I saw it. You saw it. She said that she, ever since she won the championship last year, she's been receiving death threats. She's been sexualized and a bunch of other different things. And then what's so sad is that she had to keep all of that bottled in for a year. Like, this is her first time talking about that. So that means she's been getting these kind of messages for the last, like I said, the last 12 plus months. I can only imagine what those messages said or what people were saying. I can only imagine who said that or who was saying that.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure she got called all kind of black bees, all kind of N-words, all kind of other discouraging, despicable names that you probably would refer to black women as. They probably made hair jokes. They probably, threatened to violate her. And I think it's a shame. And all this over a damn basketball game. All this over basically her doing a hand gesture that she saw somebody else doing. So, like I said before, it was okay when the white girl did it, but when the black girl did it, all hell broke loose. But then they were saying, they were celebrating Caitlin Clark doing this. oh yeah, she's a G, she's a boss and all this kind of stuff. But then when Angel Reese did it, she was everything but a child of God. And that's the
Exactly.
funny part about it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what it was. It's because Angel Reese won. Angel
Exactly.
Reese won. And the funny thing is, Angel Reese is still a national champion, and Caitlin Clark is a 2-time failure, back-to-back failure. So, and that's another thing. It stings because what it was going into this game, when you think about it, they had forgot that they had to play South Carolina, an undefeated team. But this was really about highlighting basically a rematch. And then Caitlin Clark's team won. So they wanted to rub it in. They wanted to, attack Angel Reese and diss her and do all the things that they couldn't do last year because she won the whole thing. And then to just see the excuses made after Iowa lost. Oh, it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. It was the teammates. But then they put everything on LSU. They put everything on Angel Reese. Last time I checked, she have to play with 4 other players on the basketball court. But they put that loss solely on her. But then when Caitlin Clark lost, then it's her teammates' fault. You see how they changed the dynamics, and you see how they switched the narrative off. I mean, they just do this on a regular basis. All of a sudden, Angel Reese's team loses. It's her fault. She didn't do this. She didn't do that. It's all on her. Oh, she loses. She loses. But then when Caitlin Clark loses, oh, well, Louisiana didn't do this. She keep forgetting that Don Staley had already won national championships. They kept forgetting that they had to play an undefeated team. And they showed why they were undefeated all year long. Now, I don't agree with some of the other stuff Don Staley was saying, but I felt like I had a grin on my face when it was all said and done, especially when I got to tune in the last minute and then you had called me and told me they was about to lose. So, I had that look on my face that Judd Nelson had at the end of New Jack City when Nino Brown got executed by black dude. So I had that type of grin on my face because it was just like, okay, that's karma for you. So now I was wondering, I had to wonder, damn, I wonder what all these racists and white supremacists and these sellouts are doing now that they're fallen angel Caitlin Clark lost again for the second year in a row.
Yeah, they was on it. Oh man, listen, on X, they was on there copping all kinds of pleas. I mean, you should have seen some of the stuff they was saying. Like that was literally what was running in the back of my mind after they had lost. Was not so much like them losing, but what was people saying online. And then Angel Reese, she even came out and she congratulated Dawn Staley and everything like that. And then under every post that she made, which was maybe about 3 of them, you had them trolls coming under there saying all kinds of stuff. But I'm like, you can say all you want about her, but the fact of the matter is at the end of the day, she has a ring. Caitlin Clark does not. So she still has the upper hand on that. And then on top of that, Dawn Staley, she's a 3-time champion as a coach. She went 38.
Absolutely.
She went 38-0 with basically a brand new team because all the team that she had last year, they all graduated and went into the draft or whatever the case may be. She had a whole new starting roster and went 38-0. She's the first, I think they said she's the first black coach on a collegiate level to do that, whether man or woman. That is phenomenal. So they can say all they really want about that, but at the end of the day, she has 3 titles. Angel Reese has a ring. Caitlin Clark, she just has a hype behind her. But I'm glad you said something about the team aspect because that's actually going to lead me into this next part right here. And I don't have to go through the article. It really says everything that it needs to just in the title. This one right here, and I'm sure you might have seen this from the Los Angeles Times, where this person named Ben Balch wrote this article, which was more like a hit piece, if you want to be honest. He said UCLA to LSU is America's sweethearts versus its basketball villains. He referred to LSU as villains. Now, keep in mind, LSU is a majority black female team.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw the code speak immediately. This to me was right up there or close to when Don Imus called those black women at Rutgers years ago nappy-headed hoes.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's since apologized, but I don't accept that half-assed apology, that condescending apology.
Neither do I.
They always try to walk it back and say they didn't know what they was writing and they didn't know it would have offended. Come on, man. You called them villains and debutantes, and I haven't used that word ever in my lifetime.
He called them ghetto debutantes. Yeah, that was the other one. I'm like, first off, ghetto and debutante don't even belong in the same sentence.
I don't even use that word.
Right.
Yeah, he thought he was.
It's amazing how he put that. It's amazing how he tried to put that together. Yeah.
Well, he thought he was slick, and he didn't think that we was gonna catch on to what he was trying to say, because he basically was trying to sneak and call him the N-word without actually saying the N-word, and he basically displayed his racism and white supremacy. You know, a lot of times now, Torian, you know, me and you talk about this a lot. A lot of times people try to, you know, insult our intelligence by saying, you know, thinking just because they don't use the N-word in reference to black people, that doesn't make them racist. I mean, his whole article was racist. And I'm just tired of this label. And you know where this started too. You know, ever since Floyd Mayweather started saying he's the bad guy, you know, when he went from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Mayweather saying, oh, he want to be the villain, they started attaching that to everybody. Saying, oh, sports need a villain and they need a bad guy. Okay, if that's okay, fine. But how come the villain always have to look like us though? Why can't we be the good guys? And they've always been this. Yeah, there's always been this backhanded comp. It's always been this backhand remark. When you think of bad, you think of black. And you know, the color black is supposed to be tied to being something bad. So, you know, I know what the dude was trying to say, and I just don't like that stuff. And I wish they would stop with this, you know, this villain stuff, because we know who in life is the real villains.
Well, one thing, I don't know if you've seen it on my channel recently, and even with people that have come up and everything like that, we've basically been saying over here, you know, that at this point we might as well just embrace the villainy. Because if you think about it, like in movies, villains have some of the best story arcs. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. But also, too, look at who they don as heroes. They called the people that did what they did on January 6th, they called them patriots. Now you got to think about this for a second. Would you want to be lumped in with that as far as being a hero or not? Because I couldn't do it. If that's considered to be heroic, put the villain label on me any day. I'm just being honest. That, speaking of Kyle Rittenhouse, they labeled him a hero in so many words. Look at who they labeled as heroes. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, you mean a dude that went cross state with a weapon he wasn't even supposed to have, wasn't old enough to have, and his real intent was to go in there and harm black people, but he actually ended up harming people that looked like him, because they were all kind of, from what I heard, internet feeds that he was leaving saying that he was going to be keeping an eye on black people and all that kind of stuff, but it backfired. And it's kind of funny. The incident that happened, I guess, at the White House or whatever, or the Capitol building, if you call, you know, leaving manure and piss all over the place and throwing it on the wall and all that kind of stuff as being a hero or patriotic, then I don't know what to tell you. But a lot of times they like the narrative of things. I just don't like that villain label, because we already labeled as villains in everyday life when we walk the streets, when we walk out our house and we go into a store, or we can go into the mall. If anything happened, if they say it's a suspicious person walking around the mall, it could be the summertime, and it could be, you know, and you could see 5 white dudes. It's 90-degree weather, and they got on trench coats, and all likely they got semi-automatic weapons, but they're gonna come to the dude that got on his t-shirt and the shorts when they say the suspicious character. And that's the damn problem.
Exactly. Well, now we pretty much gotten throughout, like, you know, like as far as publications go. But then, of course, you know, you had some of our own that, my goodness, had something to say. And I'm starting to lump them into the usual suspect category, my damn self at this point. But I'm sure you probably heard these comments that Paul Pierce said. Oh, my goodness. It's only a 38-second clip, but listen to the nonsense that he said when he started talking about Caitlin Clark.
It's beyond that. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. We saw a white girl in Iowa into a bunch of black girls. Well, of course. That made it like, oh, that gained my respect. That gained my respect.
I hear you. You're
like,
right.
that's like, oh, she didn't do this to some other little white girls that was over here in Colorado, wherever. She did it to some girls from LSU who we thought was some dogs.
Defending champs.
And put them on their knee and spank them.
What? Okay. There's so much to unpack with just that little bit of what he said. So he's sitting. So Paul Pierce is sitting up here. Keep in mind who he's sitting next to. And saying that you had Caitlin Clark, this white girl, come in and beat all these black girls, spank them. We thought the black girls were some dogs. Keep that in, put a pin into that one, because we know someone else who referred to Angel Reese as a dog, and we're going to get on that one in a second. And he said that like it was something to marvel at. Talk about being very, very off. Talk about being very, very, very off code. Number one. Go ahead.
Hey, you know the sad part about it is Paul Pierce is from Oakland, but you know he went to high school in Los Angeles. But we'll let Los Angeles claim Paul Pierce. You know, that was a very asinine statement, and he sounded stupid because at the end of the day, you didn't win. It's sort of like, you know what they trying to do to Caitlin Clark, Torian? They trying to make her like the female Eminem. Like how you have all these rappers saying that Eminem is the best that ever did it, which is absurd, which it ain't even remotely true. But that's what they trying to do with Clark's, you know, when they say, well, you know, Eminem, he be holding his own against black rapper. Eminem then lost rap battles. Eminem have made good music in like 20 years. But that's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to make her like a female basketball version of Eminem, or, you know, I guess they trying to make her the second coming, the female version of Larry Bird. But the thing is, Larry Bird backed it up when he got into the league. He won 3 championships. He won MVPs. Larry Bird was the real deal, but we've yet to see her play a WNBA game. We've yet to see her. We want to see, can she sell tickets? Okay, so now the hype. Let's see, can she fill up arenas? Let's see, can she sell jerseys? Let's see, can she sell tennis shoes? Let's see, can she sell products? Because if you're gonna put this type of hype around her, she got to be able to back it up. So let's see if let's see what the WNBA do next year in attendance if she decides to go to the WNBA. Which
while we're at it, Paul Pierce, will you be going to any of her games? No. I just want to know too, all the people that's like throwing a lot of hype around her, will they be attending any of her games? And like you said, will they be buying her merch and products and all types of stuff like that? Will they actually go and see? That remains to be seen. I can guarantee more people will probably go see Angel Reese, though. I can almost guarantee it. I'm just being honest. So that was Paul Pierce and what he had to say. But that kind of pales in comparison to what this next person had to say in town. You have to know who we about to talk about now, because this guy right here went ultra viral for the stuff that he said. So, and shout out to Afro Elite, because he actually posted up 2 videos where he says, notice the difference between how Emmanuel Acho treats racist white people versus a young black athlete. He has sympathy for the racist, but tells Angel Reese she shouldn't be surprised when people shoot at her because she painted the target on her back. So we're gonna play that first video first. Hopefully, I can expand this video.
Welcome to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. I've read your emails. I've heard you. So I'm going to start this episode a little bit different by reading an email that gave me hope, changed my life, and I promise it'll do the same for you. Lynn wrote, "Dear Emmanuel, I grew up in the 1940s. My family were good people who were unconsciously racist. Negro was a term used. Racism was drummed into me. It's hard every day to choose not to judge, but I'm listening. I'm 73 and I'm still learning. Don't give up on people like me. I'm awake now and determined to wake others up. Bless you, my brother and my son." Well, Lynn, I won't give up on you.
But there it is. So first off, this is my first time actually seeing this video. I didn't see this one. I saw the other one I'm gonna play after this. But notice, like, he's sitting in a big white room. He's like the blackest thing in there besides his pants and his shoes and that seat. And they got the somber music playing in the background while he's reading this letter from this woman who was still trying to overcome her racist ways, even at the age of 73. And he's so soft-spoken with it. And he's saying, "I won't give up on you." Now, we know this is going to be a far cry from what he said about Angel Reese. But what you guys say about that?
First of all, whoever that lady is, she caught up in the error of her ways. Just stop it. You almost dead now. You're almost dead. You probably like 3 years away from death, maybe even who knows. So just stop it. You on that Carolyn Bryan stuff. So just stop it. Don't say talking about don't give up. I've been gave up. It ain't no hope for you. So at 73, you realize in your 70s, you said, "Oh, I don't want to be racist no more." Stop it. Stop it. You just wanted to get that ridiculous letter read or email read, but that lady don't believe, even she don't believe what she wrote to that dude. She was just hoping that he'd be stupid enough and idiotic enough to buy the BS that she was basically trying to sell to him. And he bought into it, which I don't even think he bought into it. I just think what dudes like him do, just pander and stuff. Because, they always soft shoot when it comes to them. When they aggressive towards us, they want to holler about, "Hey, just relax." And, they want to have a different set of tone. But then, when it comes to us, they want to get all hype, overly aggressive. They want to, they want to get aggressive. They want to like square up on you. They want to wag their finger at you. They want to talk all tough to you. But, he did exactly what somebody on TV would do. Soft shoe it. He did pretty much an even worse version of Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what he had to say there. Now I'm going to shift over to this video right here, which, as we've all seen, is a far cry from what he did in the previous video. But let's just play it out and see what he says, just in case people are. There it is. Like I said, the tone is very different when from the previous video to this one. And one thing that I have an issue with is that she never claimed to want sympathy. And it's crazy too, because she would be in a double-edged situation, because if she was the quote unquote, let's just hypothetically say she was the victim, they would find a way to find fault in that. But now that he's saying she's the quote unquote villain, now they're finding fault in that too. So they would have attacked her either way. Remember, they attacked her last year and she won. They attacked her this year and she lost. She had no chance by people like the likes of him of being quote unquote on her side. Not that she needed him to be on her side. I've been aware of this dude for over a year now. I've talked about him a while ago. This guy is a tether. He's not Black American. He has a very staunch anti-Black American stance about himself. Anytime he talks about Black people who are foundational to this land, it always comes off just like this, whether it's a man, woman, or child. So I'm not surprised that that's how he said, or he spoke. And he said so much more than this, by the way. This is just a minute and 16 seconds. of his menstrual rant?
I mean, how many times have we saw this act before? If it isn't with Shaquille O'Neal, it's Charles Barkley. If it's Charles Barkley, it's Stephen A. Smith. If it isn't Stephen A. Smith, it's Jason Whitlock. He's just following the pattern of, being a handkerchief head and a coon. That's basically what he's doing. He's pandering, to a certain audience because he wants notoriety. He wants that verbal, visual pat on the back from, the mayonnaise nation. Because it's perks into basically, throwing people that look like you under the bus. I don't remember Angel Reese ever saying that she was the villain or the bad guy. I never heard her saying that. And even if she did, when do we get to a point to where you got to say, okay, you taking this too far? Okay. When do it get to the point to where you say, okay, you taking it too far with the death threats, calling her racial slurs, calling her out her name and all this kind of stuff? Dude remind me of that other cornball, Myron, what's his name? Myron Gaines. He in that realm. He one of them type of dudes that have it in for, what I'm saying, Black Americans, Black born Americans. I don't know where his family is originally from, but you could just hear the vitriol that he has for Black Americans.
Yeah.
And you could just hear it in his voice. I done met a lot of dudes like him that talk like that. They talk tough. They love to talk tough to Black people. But then when it comes to people that don't look like them, that disrespects Black people, he will go out of his way to defend them and stuff. He'll say, oh, well, they didn't mean nothing by it. And then he'll attack Black people. He'll do the typical, you guys are too sensitive and you guys take stuff too personal. We all know, Torian, if you say something about those people, that went through, the so-called quote unquote Holocaust, what happens if you say anything about them. It's okay. It's okay to attack Black people and say whatever you want to say about Black people. It's no repercussion, but say something about them. You can just say, I mean, look what happened to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving got suspended for saying he gonna watch a damn movie. Didn't say nothing bad, didn't say a damn thing. He just said he finna watch a movie and all hell broke loose. But yet you got Jerry Jones going to a Jim Crow rally. You got, I mean, come on. And then you got people making...
they stuck up and they found a way to defend that. Found a way to defend that.
Then you got Meg. What's her name? What's the damn? The lady. What's the Caucasian woman that was complaining about the Black national anthem at the Super Bowl? Megyn Kelly.
Oh, okay.
And
I had to think about who
you had her talking about.
You gotta be specific because just saying Caucasian woman, that could have been.
Yeah, well, Megyn Kelly, her name came to me. Megyn Kelly. She was talking about they shouldn't be playing the Black national anthem, lift every voice and sing. It's because it's not conclusive. I mean, come on. And then you had people like Stephen A. Smith defended her when people were saying, "Hey, you just being a racist," and she pretty much was. But this happens all the time. Like I say, it's okay for anybody that don't look like us or even that look like us to talk about us. But nobody comes to our aid for the most part. And this is what the internet then did. And then you got people that look like us that's willing to sell each other out to get views and likes. Oh, yeah. Megyn Kelly, she got the point. But the funny thing is, but the funny thing is when you go to sporting events, don't they celebrate Filipino Heritage Month? Don't they celebrate? They even celebrate, the Skittles community. They celebrate them. They celebrate every community. But then when they want to celebrate the Black community, then here everybody come talking about, oh, you shouldn't do that. We're already divided. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't nitpick. You can't cherry pick your battles. You got to have an issue with everybody, not just anything pertaining to Black. But that's always but they are, like I said, they know the game. They know the play. it's easy to get away with attacking black people because you're going to get less backlash and resistance, because a lot of people will, not only will you get people that are not black that will join the pile on, you will also get black people that will join the pile on. And that's what happened with Megyn Kelly.
It's all
the game.
It's all really it's all a grift. Really, that's what it is. They attack the low-hanging fruit, which would be us, and then out of hopes that they'll get rewarded in some kind. But before we go any further, shout out to Stephen Brown for the $4.99. He said, I see Shaq is nowhere to be found for Angel Reese, but when all was great for her, he was around her and giving her great quote unquote praises. That means that he was only there for the ride when she was winning. He's not there for when she, when she's catching her lumps like everybody else is. And the crazy part about it is they had all this vitriol for Angel Reese after when she won, and even after they lost to Iowa. But then notice when Iowa lost to South Carolina, they kept putting Caitlin Clark out there as if they won. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I could have sworn that Caitlin Clark plays for Iowa, not USC.
Exactly.
She's not on their roster, but they kept putting her out there and putting banners up there like she won. That's something else I consistently saw on social media, well, more so X than anything. They kept giving her praises. So now you're praising people who lose. And then twice. This isn't her first ride of the rodeo where she's lost, or should I say, when we're saying ride of the rodeo, her first time falling off the horse. This is her second time. She can't go back for a third time. She has to move on. She's going to go into the WNBA. But the thing is, the difference between her and Angel Reese is that Angel Reese is going into the WNBA with a ring. Caitlin Clark is going in there with bare hands, bare fingers. So, but of course, again, they have to try to keep pushing this great white hope or this great white hype. They do it every time. And the thing is, once they are done with talking about Caitlin Clark, they're going to move right on to the next person. It works like clockwork. Every generation has it, whether it's in sports, in music, basically anywhere where black people are dominating. That's where it is.
Yeah.
In town, I don't know if you saw, there was an article that I came across on X where they're trying to do something now with, like, if you notice, like, they're starting to try to push out more European NBA players. I saw the article somewhere. I wish I had it on me, but I said, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to dumb it down for them because for years, for decades, black players have been dominating. So now they're trying to dumb it down to make it more easier for them. I said, y'all couldn't be more obvious. So you want to lose viewership for the NBA is what you're saying. But these are the same people that will say that, oh, white people, we invented basketball.
Yeah, but we made it $1 billion entity. So, yeah, it went from being worth a couple of thousand per year to being worth billions with a B, because of Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, then LeBron James, and then Steph Curry, and then maybe this new guy. I think the next new star, whether people like it or not, is going to be Anthony Edwards. That's going to be the guy. Mm-hmm. I see that dude is going to be a superstar. But, Tori, it's funny. Like, since when do we celebrate people losing? Okay, Tori, we just had the Super Bowl and the Kansas City Chiefs won. Do we care that the 49ers lost to the Kansas City Chiefs? No. Do we care that
the game either way? So it didn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So since when did we celebrate losing? She lost. So now you're trying to change the narrative for her. Mm-hmm. They made it more about Caitlin Clark than they did about South Carolina winning. Exactly. We were supposed to be celebrating them.
I'll take it a step further. These are the same people, and I bet something just tells me a white woman was behind this, that came up with the participation award. You know about the participation award. I call it the soccer mom award, the soccer mom invented award, where the loser or the person who comes in second place gets an award that's basically a replica of the first place winner. No, there's a first, second, and third. There is no participation award just for you playing. Not everyone's going to get something. You're going to have to win, and you're going to have to lose. That's just how life goes. But I remember when they started doing that participation award crap years ago. I'm talking about this probably kicked off when I was maybe in high school. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, who came up with that? And then when I'm looking at the people who were getting them, I said, yep, it was them. And sure enough, I said, that is something they would do.
I mean, Tori, me and you probably both saw Talladega Nights. This, Ricky Bobby. What did the guy say? If you're not first, you're last, and we should all have that same standard. You can't just change the rule for some white girl who lost not once but twice. She's a 2-time loser. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said before, sports has always been about who finishes number one. Like I said, whoever wins the NBA championship, we're not going to care who they beat. We're not going to care about the losing team. But then again, they tried to change the narrative last year when Jim Crow Joe invited them to the White House instead of LSU. So I mean, this started with Jim Crow Joe. But then again, he's known for initiating things. So
you literally brought up what I was going to bring up about them trying to invite Iowa to the White House last year. People was livid and rightfully so. They're like, no, never in the history has that ever happened, and we're not going to start right now just because you want to feel sorry because Caitlin Clark and her team lost. No, we're not about to do that. You're not going to do it then, and you're not going to do it in the future. And again, who was the one put out there in the podium to say that? Jill Biden. What did I just tell you about the participation award? I'm guaranteeing you a soccer mom came up with that. And they had Jill Biden, a white woman, front and center, literally said, well, we usually don't do this, but we're thinking about inviting Iowa to the White House. And people were so mad to the fact where they didn't go. And good thing they didn't go, because LSU said that we will not go if they're going. And I think Angel Reese led the charge with that. And I think they were mad at her about that too. They're like, how dare you speak at the first lady like that? How dare you? Where's your respect? Where's your manners? Well, excuse me. How are you going to invite the losers to the White House? That's not how that works. You do not do that. That's never happened.
Exactly. Hey, Torian, exactly. Hey, my team, the Golden State Warriors, won 73 games, but guess what? They didn't win the whole thing. They lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So should we be still the Warriors won 73 regular season games, but they didn't win it all. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't invite them to the White House. You had to invite the team that won, which was the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can't change the narrative. It doesn't matter whether you won 73 games. You don't invite it's like now all of a sudden you want to change tradition for just this one person. So like I said before, Torian, and I'm gonna leave you on this note because I got to get some rest.
Yeah,
you can't change the narrative. Don't try to switch up just because you want to try to big this person up, like you trying to overhype. Because let's see, can Caitlin Clark handle this kind of pressure? Let's see, can she really handle the pressure when she's on the big stage? And keep in mind, it's totally different from playing professional basketball versus college basketball and the WNBA and the WNBA. Even if she would have accepted that Big 3 offer, like I think Kenyon Martin said, she wouldn't have scored 1 point. They would have had to basically let her score because she wouldn't have scored. Like, how would she been able to listen, man? Listen, you really think some dudes that played, those dudes that play in the Big 3 are veteran NBA players? Some of them dudes played 10, 11, 12 years in the NBA. You really think they gonna let some young girl, some young white girl come in there and basically show them up? Are you kidding me? They would humiliate her.
Right.
And then of course they would get attacked. So it was best that she turned that offer down because it would have been bad for her.
Oh yeah, she would have got exposed for sure. And then they would have found another excuse. And like I was saying before, before, lamestream media is the reason why we even know who Caitlin Clark is. Because before then, I didn't know who this chick was. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But when they tried to make her into a thing, then that's when we found out who she was. But then at the same time, that's when we ended up finding out who Angel Reese was. And I think what they really hated is that they tried to make it a thing where Caitlin Clark was this big deal and Angel Reese was supposed to play second fiddle to her, but it backfired because we ended up, I said, by them hyping her up, we ended up hyping Angel Reese up even more. And it kind of pushed back against the mainstream media narrative. So they've been sitting on pins and needles all year for the so-called rematch. They got what they wanted because she ended, unfortunately, Angel Reese and LSU, they ended up losing. But then where it counted, and I kept saying, y'all cannot get too excited because she has two obstacles in her way. That's UConn, which of course they ended up beating, and USC, which they ended up losing to get a ring. So your hype that y'all built around her for over a year backfired on you again, twice. Just like she lost twice, y'all lost twice. And now she's about to go into the WNBA, and now we're going to have to see if you're going to be able to keep that hype around her. And we know that you're not, because like I said before, y'all going to go out there and try to find the next great white hope. As far as you're concerned, as far as I'm concerned, they're done with Caitlin Clark for the time being. They're about to try to see who else they can go and like put a machine behind because she didn't fulfill her end of the deal, quote unquote.
No, she didn't get it done. And I just think what's gonna happen, Tori, in probably the first it's gonna be a buzz the first maybe couple of games, and then I think as usual it'll die down. I don't know where Angel Reese is going, but if she plays for a team that's within my proximity, then who knows? Now, I don't know if you know, Torian, the WNBA announced that they are adding a team in my area. It's going to be, they're going to be playing in the Chase Center in San Francisco, but they're going to be based out of Oakland. And, Oakland is right across the water from San Francisco. So, if she goes there eventually, who knows? Torian, I'll go there just to be nosy, just to support the inaugural game. But they supposed to start playing. If I'm not mistaken, Torian, they will start playing this following season.
Okay.
So I don't know what the name of the team is going to be.
I don't know. I think the only time it's going to really be some hype there is, Angel Reese gets drafted into the WNBA. Caitlin Clark gets drafted into the WNBA on two different teams because they'll never have them on the same team. And have them whenever they have a game where they have to play each other, then that's when people are going to pay attention to it because they started this. Well, mainstream media started this rivalry between the two of them because honestly, there really was no rivalry, but mainstream media, again, being who they are, turned it into that. And then they got the crowd on board, which is what they really wanted. But like I said, we'll see what happens because at the end of the day, we're going to have to see who people are going to want to see more, who people are going to support more. And another reason they probably mad at Angel Reese is because she got that Vogue deal. She got that Vogue contract or that Vogue branding or whatever it is. And I think that's when she kind of announced that she was going to go into the draft. Caitlin Clark didn't get that. So again, mainstream media takes and holds another L.
Oh, she also, Angel Reese also has a deal with Reebok.
Yep, she does. Mm-hmm.
She has a deal with Reebok as well. So she already got a sneaker deal in place. So she already got, and she got a lot of other stuff going down the pipeline. So she's gonna, flourish. I mean, let's just face the fact. She's she's more attractive. She just is. She just is. I mean, if you've seen Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark dressed up in their in they Sunday's best,
it's no competition.
Yeah, it's not even up for debate. I mean, Caitlin Clark is mediocre looking, and I'm trying to be nice by saying she's mediocre looking, but Angel Reese is a very nice looking woman. I got to say very nice looking because she's old enough to be my daughter, so she's somebody that I would let date my son.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. So yeah. So there you have it.
Right. All right, y'all. Well, that's pretty much going to bring this to a close. And Town, I appreciate you being able to come up here and speak with me about this.
Thank
I
you
know
for
that you,
inviting me back, man. Thank you for inviting me back. I know people have been asking. So, hey, Torian gave you guys what you wanted. He brought me back. I'm gonna bring him on my outlet too. So Torian will be making an appearance on my channel. We just gonna set it up and we gonna go over the subject matter, and it'll be fire as usual.
definitely. And if y'all haven't done so already, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to Town Biz channel if you have not done so already. I mean, he covers a wide range of topics. If you're into boxing for sure, you definitely want to subscribe to his channel, because the guy's like an encyclopedia when it comes to boxing. And like you said at the beginning, he has the credentials to go to these events and actually interview these fighters that many of y'all just see on television. He actually has built a network to talk to these people.
Hey, tell him, Torian, I've spoken from everybody to Terrence Bud Crawford to Errol Spence to everybody. I've pretty much interviewed everybody you can think of, pretty much. Hey, Torian, I'm gonna say something. This is real talk. I've even interviewed Carissa Shield before. I don't think Carissa Shield liked me very much, but but hey, it is what it is.
When I tell you that Town is like the real deal when it comes to boxing, like I never told anybody this, but I think this is the perfect time to actually say it. When Tank had his fight here in the DMV, well, in DC last year, and I had told Town that he was coming here, Town actually sent me credentials, like a media pass credential, to go to the press conference. I wasn't able to go because it was the same day as me having to work, so it was a time thing. If I wasn't working that day, I probably would have definitely went. But he actually sent me the credential where I could have gone. So when I tell you Town like really has a network with these individuals, I mean just that. So like I said, if y'all haven't done so already, thank you, Jay Barry. He actually put your link in the chat. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And also, I have his name tagged in the title, so y'all can just click that. It'll take you right to his channel, and make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. He's been doing this for a while now, and he's definitely building everything up, and he's definitely found his lane, and he's knowing how to stay in it. But don't get it twisted. He will check anybody. Just look at the videos and hear his tone on here. Trust and believe that. With that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back on here tomorrow. Got the 11 a.m. Eastern time premiere, and of course the weekly Friday stream as well as 6 Eastern time. With that being said, y'all enjoy your evening. Have a good night. Be safe and be one.